My goal is to give back to others, and I really want to impact people at a higher level.
Okay.
So I've been consistently closing $20 million in real estate every single year. And I want to teach others how to do the exact same thing.
Welcome to a new episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. We're at 400 plus episodes. Gilbert, Arizona. It's a cool, I think it's cooling off a little bit, but it's a cool 104 out right now. We want to bring you someone that I think that you'll really enjoy to hear from him. Everything from personal development to, his video work and what he's doing. And one of the things that really caught my attention was his philosophy on gamifying life. And he used the terminology of Grand Theft Auto 5, which I used to play, and I love the game, but I got off of it because I like the real life version of GTA 5. So we have the one and only Ari on Real Estate vs. Technology, man. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you for having me, man.
Awesome. And just closer the better, so people can get that. We want to give them all of you, bro. All the sound.
I appreciate that, Norman. Well, I'm here. You get all of me today.
Awesome. Excited to have you on the show, man. Excited to deep dive into a little bit of your story and the backdrop. I guess you could say it's open up the hood, car talk. Open up the hood and just talk about a little bit of you, why real estate, how long you've been in the business. It's an interesting industry to get into for sure. Never a dull moment, huh?
Never, man. There's always something new every day. We'll put it that way.
Dude, 100%. So how long you been in?
I've been in the business now for 3 years. I got licensed at the end of 2021.
Congrats.
And it was a very interesting story that I kind of went through to get to where,
really?
I'm today.
Give us some enlightenment, man.
Yeah. We can backtrack to, back when I was in, we'll start with elementary school. So first off, born and raised here in Arizona.
Okay, so you're native.
Yeah, I've got three brothers, two loving parents. They're still together, so I'm very thankful for that.
Oldest, youngest, middle? What are you at?
I'm the second child, so I guess you could say middle.
Okay, cool.
And I was a really good kid growing up.
Yeah.
Straight A's and B's. I would say I was probably the favorite child.
Oh, wow. He's putting it out there. I like it.
I'm putting it out there in case my brothers listen to this. But what happened is during COVID, everything got shut down. I was a junior in high school.
Yeah.
And everything got shut down. School was closed. I got laid off from work. At the time, I was working at Mel Mushroom, making pizzas for people.
There you go.
17 years old. And what ended up happening is I started to really let go of myself. I started gaining a lot of weight.
Really?
I gained about 35 pounds. I was overweight, having fun. Life was on pause. Nothing mattered.
Yeah.
And one day I just looked in the mirror and I was like, is this really what I want out of my life? And I just had that realization moment after really just not doing anything for a year and a half. And it hit me. I was like, you know what? I have potential for so much more. I have genuine potential to be great, just like anyone has.
I love that.
But it just hit me that one night.
Okay.
And I had a conversation with, all my friends, and, I told them essentially hey, I don't want to be doing this anymore. I don't want to go down the route of, really not developing whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I had a long conversation. I cut them off.
Wow.
They weren't willing to come up with me.
At least you had the conversation.
Of course, I had to. And I gave them the opportunity to come up with me, but they didn't want to. They're like, Ari, what do you mean? We can still do what we're doing and become successful. And I was like, no, your habits dictate your future.
Ooh.
And so I cut them off. I ended up losing 35 pounds in a 9-month period.
Let's go.
Tracking all my calories, working out probably 10 times a week, twice a day.
Wow, congrats.
And within 9 months, I had a shredded six-pack. And I think that was the first thing that gave me the confidence.
Yeah.
And gave me that realization that I can do anything if I just put my mind to it.
Amen.
And so from there, I ended up going off to college. I joined a fraternity for about a month.
There you go.
I was at Arizona State University.
Okay.
And I realized again that thought came back to me is your habits dictate your future.
Yeah.
I was stuck in the same place. I was around people that really all they wanted to do was, smoke weed,
party,
wake up at noon, they'd party all night. And although it was a ton of fun, I decided it wasn't for me. I had bigger ambitions
I
than
love that.
doing that with my life. And I had so much urgency because
Mm.
most people have the mindset, you know what, let me just wait. It's 4 years of college, 8 years of college. Like afterward, I'll have the life to myself and can do whatever I want. But my mindset was every single minute we have on this earth is so valuable.
Amen.
And to throw that away just to have fun when you haven't achieved anything with your life is a waste of life.
Yes.
And what I decided to do after long and long contemplation was drop out of college.
Wow.
Um,
That's probably big, right? I mean,
well, right. It was easier said than done.
Okay.
Because my parents being immigrants, they really, really valued college. They didn't get the opportunity to have, education and, raising us here in the United States. It was a blessing. And so I would have this conversation with them for months and
Wow.
months and months about wanting to drop out of college. And the conversation would always end on a negative note. It would be them either, raising their voice at me or just not supporting my dreams. And I told them, listen, this is what I want to do. I want to be an entrepreneur. And they're like, listen, if you don't have a college degree, no one's going to respect you. You're not going to make any money. Good luck surviving in the real world. And I told them, but hey, I want to be a real estate agent. They're like, who do you know who wants to buy and sell in a house with an 18-year-old? Everyone has a realtor in their family. That's what they told me. And I said, you know what? I don't care. I'll figure it out.
I love that.
I will figure it out and I will make it work. And that conversation went on for months. And I probably consulted dozens and dozens of people and I was getting mixed opinions. But what I did do is I trusted my intuition. Like I trusted my gut completely.
I love that.
And that's when I decided to drop out of college. So before, you know what, let me backtrack a little bit. Before I pulled the trigger and dropped out, I had 6 ASU classes.
Okay.
And
what was going to be the major?
Finance. I didn't want to do it. I just did it to make my parents happy.
Yeah, right.
And I had 6 of those classes. And afterward, I would go to the library to study for my real estate exam and study for those classes. So it was a lot on my plate.
Yeah.
And by the end of the semester, I ended up getting my real estate license. I dropped out of college against my parents' will and went all into real estate.
Wow.
Because I knew if I didn't have a plan, I'd become part of someone else's plan.
Yes.
And deep down, I think everyone should have their own plan and not dictate their life based on someone else, what someone else tells you to do. So that's what I did. I dropped out of college. I was in my room cold calling for sale by owners for 4 hours a day.
Wow.
And I did that for about a month. And I would watch YouTube videos on different coaches educating me, really just trying to find myself because I really didn't have any mentors.
Yeah.
My mother's been in the business for 20 years, but she's never prospected. She does great, but all of her business was just from her sphere. And so being an 18-year-old, I didn't know anyone who wanted to buy and sell, just like they told me, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I need to hunt for my own business. And that's what I did. So I was calling for 4 hours a day. It didn't go anywhere. It actually got to the point where I broke down.
Wow.
Literally in tears.
Wow.
Because I was backed against the wall. I dropped out of college when I had a scholarship on the line. No one believed in me. And I had to make it. I had no other choice. And here I am.
Burn the boats.
Hours and hours of cold calling, and I haven't made it.
Jeez.
So what ended up happening is like, you know what? I got to get around people who are doing what I want to do at a high level. I got to get a mentor. I got to find people who are succeeding at an extremely high level. So what I did right when I had that thought is I looked up open houses in Scottsdale.
Okay.
Over 700,000. I drove my ass to the open houses.
Let's go.
And I walked in and I saw this one lady who was clearly the listing agent. And I asked her, hey, like, by the way, like, I'm a new agent. I'm trying to figure it out. What exactly did you do to get this listing? It was very hard for me to get out of my comfort zone and ask that question because it was.
Congrats, though. That's great. You did.
But yeah, thank you. And then really the way what she said was, well, my company trained me and I met these people through a call and I got it.
Awesome.
I was like, your company trained you? I was like, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I was at a company where it was, a flat fee brokerage. You hang your license and you don't have to worry, but you don't get any training.
A lot of that in Arizona.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're maybe a 20, 30-year vet in the business and maybe you do it part-time as well, why pay monthly fees when you can just pay a transaction fee? So
Easy.
nothing wrong with that. But for someone who's new and fresh into the business, mentorship is a must.
Yes.
And so what I ended up doing is I grabbed her card. I didn't call the brokerage or anything. I slept on it for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Because I wanted to continue down this route of trying to figure it out myself.
Okay.
And after 2 weeks of trying to figure it out myself, I came to the realization that it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to take a lot more time.
Amen to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have figured it out, but why not just get a mentor and fast track your success? So that's what I did. That's what I did. I took that business card. I found the hiring broker's phone number.
Okay.
It was like a secretary. She did all the hiring.
Yeah.
Super sweet lady. Her name is Heidi, by the way.
Shout out Heidi.
Shout out to Heidi, right? And I called her up and I was like, hey, I'm a new agent. I'm looking to join your brokerage. I heard great things about it. How can I join? And she's like, oh, sorry, Ari, but we don't hire new agents.
Oh.
And so I was like, no, Heidi. Like, I'm not that new. Like, my mother's been in the business.
Yeah.
Like, I have my ways around things. Like, I'm familiar, even though I really didn't know anything. I persisted my way through. And she's like, you know what, Ari? Like, you sound like you're motivated. You sound like you're hungry to make something happen here. And you know what? Just come in for an interview. Come in tomorrow. And so that's what I did.
Wow.
I was jumping that she let me have this interview. I ran to my mom, like, Mom, guess what?
I love it.
My way into an interview with this company. And the next day I ended up going.
Okay.
And long and behold, that company was 72 sold.
One of the biggest companies in Arizona.
That's right. That's right. At the time, I didn't even know what that was. I barely even knew what an escrow company was.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew what an inspector was. I just wanted to make money.
Green and ready.
Yeah, very, very green. And you know what? When you are green, I think you have some advantage.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
You have no bad habits. It's a fresh start. It's a clean slate. And so what ended up happening is I ended up getting into that company.
Okay.
I joined one of the top teams on that company.
Yeah.
And I started just learning. I would shadow people for 12 hours a day for the first month. Literally, I would not get paid, but I would just go on 3-4 listing appointments a day. I didn't care if it was an hour drive. I was a sponge and I was hungry for knowledge and hungry to succeed.
Let's go.
And, after some time of doing that, I ended up picking up the phones back again.
Okay.
And I started dialing. And it was funny because no one in that company really dialed. Most of the agents were just handed leads from the company.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of the only one just dialing. They didn't want to hand me leads right away because I was so green.
Yeah.
And we were probably in this small little office, maybe as big as this room.
Wow.
Very, very, very tiny office. And there was maybe 5 or 6 agents. I was hitting the phones, probably 400 or 500 calls a day.
Wow.
And I ended up setting a listing appointment. Everyone looked over at me. Did you just set that listing appointment? And I did.
Yes, I did.
Yes, I did. So I ended up going out there as a for sale by owner.
Okay.
I did my listing presentation that I learned from 12 hours a day of shadowing. And I got the agreement signed.
Let's go.
Put it on the market. And within 24 hours, I ended up selling the house.
Wow. So how long have you been in now since that first inception into the real estate industry? Until the closing.
So I got licensed in November. This contract I got signed in January, and the closing was in February. So
wow.
Maybe 4 or 5 months into the business, I had my first closing.
Dude, congratulations, man. That's awesome. Now, I have a question for you. I'm really curious to rewind back here a little bit. So we didn't touch on mom. Mom's 20 years in the business, right? So you would think, in my mind, obviously it's different. She would be excited and elated to have her son, maybe join her team and she can mentor you and help you with the ropes of the company. But it doesn't sound like that was the case.
My mom's amazing. She helped me a ton with the contracts.
Okay.
She printed the purchase contract out for me and she's like, study this. Same with the spuds. And so I got all my contracts in a row just from her teaching that to me.
Got it.
She also put me on one of her transactions, so I saw exactly how the escrow process was.
Okay.
So I got that training from her, and super grateful
That's
for
cool.
that. Till this
That's
day,
cool.
obviously still use all that information I
Yeah.
learned from her. But when it came to actually prospecting and hunting for new business,
Mm,
she didn't really have a ton to train me on there, just because
got it.
most of her, really all of her business was from her sphere, family, friends, and I had to find my own way.
Got it. Okay. That makes a whole lot of sense. And how did she feel and your parents feel after you got that first deal closed? Were they just elated or what, man?
They were super super excited for me. They were
That's
happy. I
awesome.
don't think they were quite sold still on me being
Really?
all into real estate entrepreneur with strictly commission.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening after I closed that first deal, I started picking up some momentum, and then
Okay.
the next week I signed another one, and
Really?
another one, and another one, and by the end of the year, I had closed 45 deals in my first
Wow.
year.
First year, 45 deals. Come on.
Yeah.
Go follow this. Go follow this guy. His link's down below, man. Check out RAD on fire. Are they sold now?
Are they sold now?
Are your parents sold now after
Oh
45 your first
yeah. Oh
year?
my gosh, my parents were extremely, extremely excited.
I mean, that
Um,
changes your whole life.
yeah, no, it did change my life, and the best part about it was trusting my intuition,
Okay.
because at the end of the day, everyone's parents, for the most part, have the absolute best intentions for them,
Of course.
but they don't always know what's right.
They just know what they know based off of what they've learned
Right.
from their parents and their parents' parents. And things are shifting and changing so much with technology and just everything happening with AI and webs. Just everything is completely different. The lay of the land's different than it was 20, 30 years ago,
Right. 100%.
you know?
100%. It's completely changed. And so it was important that I really figure out what I want and
I
just go
love that.
all in on it, regardless of what anyone says. And that's what I did. And yeah, I did prove them
Wow.
wrong, but most of all, they were extremely happy for me.
Okay.
And yeah, from there, I continued staying busy. I actually got so busy that first year that my mom ended up joining 72 Sold to help me out with my transactions.
Started working with you, dude. Let's
Yeah.
go, bro.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was a blessing to have her on board too, just because
Yeah.
I mean, dude, she's dialed in with her contract. She has her broker's license.
Okay.
She knows her contracts
Yeah.
inside and out.
Wow.
So that was really really nice to have her.
Okay.
And yeah, moving forward, next year I also ended up doing 20 million in sales. Not as many
Nice.
transactions, but same amount in sales.
Okay.
So I
So
just
you're going, the average medium home sales price, you're going up now.
yeah, my price point increased. I
Okay.
started focusing a little bit more on luxury. It was
Yeah.
selling really really
I
hot at
can't
the time.
tell at all with your Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all over the place, dude. If something needs to be sold, I'll sell it, whether it's
Yeah.
a $300,000 house or a $5
His
million house.
Instagram is dialed. Okay. It's all luxury listings. I'm joking.
No, man, it's all over the place, and I'm totally not against it. And my motto is like, I'll provide a luxury service for any price point. At the end of the
That's
day,
what it's
if
about.
people need their home sold, that's someone else who needs help.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna help them out.
I love, it speaks a lot to you and to just your personality, the way you're showing up. And a lot of people treat people like numbers, and it's sad. I think that it doesn't matter where they're at. If you treat them with respect and you're loving and you're kind and you listen and you provide a service, basically a service based off what they're looking for, their needs are, whether they're 250, 500,000 or a million plus. Yeah, like mindset change. Later on this episode, we are going to be talking about mindset, personal development, because I think a lot of you all can learn and listen from this. We also have some really cool things. You want to keep listening because he's going to talk about some stuff he's working on to help you too. So if you want to have 45 deals your first year, 20 million your second year, then you're going to want to hear about what he has going on. But yeah, man, good for you. Good for you for just treating everyone like a human being and not by like a transaction or a fucking number, dude.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, people need our help.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of agents look at this business as very transactional.
Yeah.
When in reality, I mean, this is someone's house.
Yeah.
This is more than likely their most valuable asset.
Yeah.
And to be able to help them either sell that for top dollar or buy it and get the best deal, I mean, that's life changing for a lot of people.
100%. Now I got a question for you. When it comes to 45 deals first year, 20 million your second year, you're at 72 sold. How do you manage? Because the shift of the mind, right? You have to shift your mindset. You have a lot of money coming in, money that you didn't have before. Are you hiring a financial advisor? Do you have a coach for that? Right? Are you saving for tax? There's like, I think there's a lot more to the puzzle, right? That I think that viewers and listeners need to listen to because how did you navigate that, right? Because I've had clients on the lift off agent side that have like $50,000 tax implication because they didn't save properly. They've had to cancel services or whatever else, and payment plans for the government, the whole nine. Not saying that's you, just saying that in general, like for viewers and listeners out there that get to that level of success, how do you manage that type of financial wealth and abundance like that?
That's a good question. And honestly, everything just hit so quick.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to really think about really the money coming in. It was more so just I need a service to steal. I
Yeah.
was working 14-hour days.
Oh my God.
And so I didn't even have time to really spend a lot of the money. Like
That's a good problem to have.
it was a good problem. But most importantly, I think I'm blessed to have learned a lot of good habits
That's
from
good.
my parents in that regard. They've, growing up, they're very smart with their money.
Okay.
And so I knew not to splurge on stupid things. I
I love
know
that.
markets are cyclical.
Mm-hmm.
So really what I did buy though was a BMW because
Congrats.
that was my dream car while I was
Which
in.
one?
I got the 435i with red interior.
Nice, dude.
I love it. It's a
Red
good.
interior, just side note, great for videos.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. And so that it's funny because that was like my dream car.
Okay.
I was in college. It was my lock screen. I printed it and put it on my walls in my house. I I,
Affirmations.
I watched videos. I journaled it every day that I will have that car. And what's funny is I told everyone in my network that I will have that car by the end of the year. And I was dead broke when I was telling people that. I
I
didn't even have
love
I
it.
didn't even have my license. And so the fact that I had so much conviction that I would have that car and by the end of the year I got it, I think it just goes to show the power of
Yes.
visualization and actually
Yes.
wanting something bad enough
Yes.
because really you don't need to know the how. You just need to know what it is you want and that how will end up coming into fruition.
100%.
And that's what I learned. You tunnel vision and you'll get it.
Yes. And I think so many people get caught up on, the how, the when, the why, and it doesn't matter. All it matters is that you know that you're gonna have it, and you're gonna have it, and how would it feel to have it? And I'm on the other side. So last year, ended up buying 2016 Nissan GTR, one of my dream cars, and I got married, had a kid, a lot of the different other priorities you could say, right? Making sure you have the house, all the other things that for me personally that I was going through. And I didn't know when, but I just knew it was going to happen. And I probably could have had it a lot sooner. But what I did was I just reinvested into the company and then into the staff and team and just build such a solid foundation that like now I can go drop $30,000 in the car in the last past 12 months on top of the fact that, it's 100 grand car plus depending on what year and whatever. But that's awesome, man. I love that. And I think a lot of people out there get caught up on like the how because they're like, well, how do I do it? And this and that. And they tell other people. And then the people ask, well, how are you going to do it? And you're like, well, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, man, the mind is so powerful. All you have to do is have it top of mind
Mm,
all the time.
mm,
Know you want it and just put a plan together to go get it. So if your
yes.
goal is to sell, 45 homes in a year, figure out how many listing appointments you need to go on
Yes.
to have that many opportunities. Figure out how
Yes.
many cold calls you need to make to be able to get that many listing appointments. Figure out how many hours you have to work in a day to be able to make that many cold calls. It's
Reverse
you just
engineer.
reverse engineer it. It's a science.
I love that.
You just break it down so simply,
I
and
love
you can
that.
achieve anything you want.
It's crazy to touch on that for a second here. So I did a video, I have hundreds, not hundreds, 115, 116 videos on YouTube. And one of the videos I talked about is reverse engineering from the perspective of like, say, okay, there's 1.5 million agents in the whole entire United States of America. Okay, you break that down. Okay, 90% of the business is done by the top 10% of real estate professionals. So you got top 10% out of the 1.5 million are transacting. And then you go from like macro to micro. Micro would be like, okay, Arizona, okay, great. Maricopa County, okay, how many are licensed? Less than 50% of the licensed real estate agents don't even transact. They just have like their license, right, in Arizona. And then you look at like, okay, how many listings are there in Maricopa County? And then you can go how many listings are in, and you can do Zillow. How many listings are specifically just in Gilbert, Chandler, Mesa, Scottsdale, where you're located, and then you go and you just reverse engineer how many licensed agents are in that area. Okay, and then like you did, how did you get this listing? Okay, great. So then you start finding out how they did these listings, find the commonality, what's happening here, and then like I love avatars. It could be downsizer, okay, great, or it could be relocation, okay, great. Showcase and talk about new construction. There's so many things people could do. But everyone gets caught up in just like the how. It doesn't matter how. You just have to think to yourself, like you said, which is beautifully put, just reverse engineer it. And once you break it all the way down, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going
100%.
to make these calls. I'm going to do these door knocks. I'm going to film this content. I'm going to get on YouTube. I'm going to whatever it is. And within 4 months, we just had Kelly on the show, and you met her. She just left. She were talking geo farming, and she said it took her about 6 months before she got her first closing for geo targeting farming, marketing in her farm. And for you, it's 4 months making calls.
You know, it's crazy because people get too caught up in the lead generation source. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
should I do open houses? Should I cold call? Should I do geo farming, PPC? And in all reality, you choose one or two and go all in.
All in.
Because every single lead source works.
Yes.
It's just a matter of the effort you're putting into
Yes.
the lead source to generate that business. And yeah, people get shiny object syndrome. They can't stay consistent at one task for enough period of time to be able to see that result.
Yeah.
That's really all it comes down to, is just staying consistent on one task, and it's seeing the results. It's that simple.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like it's the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is rewarding you. Right? If you could stay consistent and you can think about the thought of what you want and just keep on and keep on and keep on and keep on, before you know it, you're going to have that breakthrough. And then before you know it, you're going to get rewarded.
Yep. That's exactly what we were talking about on my team meeting this morning. A lot of people struggle with consistency. Consistency boils down to belief.
Yes.
If you believe the task you're doing is going to get you the result you're looking for,
yes,
you're going to end up doing that task. For example, if you cold call to get business and you're about to sit down and cold call, and you truly believe someone's going to pick up the phone and invite you over for a listing appointment, you're going to end up cold calling.
Yes.
You are. If you know there's a $15,000 check on the other side of that phone call, everyone's going to pick up the phone and dial. Right?
Why not?
Why not, right? You would do it. Right? So like it comes down to actually having a belief that is going to happen. That's the reason I can cold call consistently every single day for 3 years straight, is because I believe that I'm going to get a deal out of it. And even if I don't get a deal today from cold calling, I know I'm going to call tomorrow and it's going to appear. Or if it doesn't come tomorrow, it's going to come in 3 days. But just wrapping back to what you said, it's God is going to reward those people,
amen,
who actually put in the work, more input, more output.
Yes. And I think a big thing for individuals out there viewing and listening, and you hit the nail on the head, set better intentions. Like, what is the outcome that you want, like you said, from these calls? And it doesn't matter how many calls, like we talked about. It just matters that you just keep dialing, and then eventually the outcome is going to come into fruition, and you're going to, your vision of what you are expecting is going to come, and you're going to be like, holy shit. I wanted that. I wanted that opportunity to go to that house. I wanted to meet a cool family or a person that I can vibe with. Vibe creates your tribe. I want to get a listing appointment. I want to be able to close that listing appointment. And then, like, I love the thought process of, like, not only just visualizing it and setting better intentions, but also acting like it as if it already has happened. And even when you go to a formal listing presentation or whatever the case may be, like, if I meet someone on like the Liftoff agent side sponsoring Real Estate First Technology, shout out, like, I'm already in the vibration of, like, they're already a client. This has already happened. And I just set that intention. And then before you know it, when you're talking to someone on the other side of the phone, they hear how, like, excited you are and, like, the passion that you have. And there's something that connects you with them, and that the vibe just matches, and, like, boom.
That's so true, man. It's all energy.
Oh my God.
It's really all it is. And I want to circle back a little bit to where I talked about belief.
Yeah.
I think the reason why most people don't believe, for example, like I said, when they're cold calling, that they'll get a deal, is because they're not confident in their skills. And so if you can be confident in your skills, your belief is going to be higher. The chances of you believing that you're going to get the deal is going to be higher. So
love that.
That's why we practice every single day with the team. That's why I'm working on building out a program to teach real estate agents exactly how to get more listings through cold calling, through mastering the listing presentation, is because if I can increase their belief in themselves through increasing their skills, their conversion's naturally going to go up. That energy is going to be higher. For example, another trick that I use, speaking of energy, is before I walk into a listing appointment, I'm priming my mind that I'm going to get that appointment. And how I do that is I think of all the things that I'm grateful for in life right before I walk through that door. I think of all the things I'm grateful for in life. I think of all the things
Wow.
I'm looking forward to. I
Yeah.
think of all the deals I have in the pipeline, and I think
Hmm.
of everything, because why I do that is it increases your energy. And why it's important to have increased energy is because no one wants to work with people who aren't happy. If you walk in that door and you have a smile on your face and you're shaking their hand firmly, it
Yes.
just shows them you're dialed, like you're ready to sell their house. Whereas if you had a shitty day and you bring that energy into that appointment, they're going to feel that, and the chances of them working with you is going to be a lot more slim. That's why I can walk into a listing appointment that's interviewing 7 or 8 other people and win like almost every single time. It's the energy. It's the energy.
I love that. I love that. And come on. Look at this guy. Let's give him a round of applause for his clothes. So I dressed to the nines. I told him before we went on the show that I'm the bow tie and suspender guy. So go to liftoffagent.com. You'll see. But you get to a certain point where, like, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm getting more relaxed in my life, but you know, I have a little more flexibility these days, and it's fucking hot outside. But even the clothes that you're wearing, and we're gonna go a little bit philosophical deep here. So it's interesting. Watches,
Yep.
cars, shoes, dress clothes, there's something about the transfer of energy. And when you spend more money on something like a supercar, a nice watch, a suit and tie, the people that make that thing they're passionate about it. And you can feel the passion in the actual clothes and the fiber themselves, to a point where then you wear it, it transmits that, and you can tie into that energy when you go into that situation. And it just gives that automatic.
So true.
And this is the craziest part. A lot of these people, the new wave is like t-shirts and flip-flops and shit. And like I'm halfway there right now. But like you go to these fucking events and it's like, dude, they're wearing fucking t-shirts and flip-flops. And I'm like the only person with like bow tie suspender. And like when it's time to show up, like I always bring my video guy with me and we fucking go in, we go tough, we go hard. I'm at my personal residence. I'm not tripping right now. But I love the fact that you present yourself the way you do, because it speaks so much more for how many, like the 7 they interviewed, like you just said, you're the only one dressed like that.
Yep.
It's going to make a huge difference.
It's true. It's very true. Perception is reality. These people that are interviewing you, in all reality, like they don't know anything about you. They don't know that your dog just passed away last week. I hope that didn't happen. But
Yeah.
my point is like you can walk into an appointment and the way you're dressed, the way you carry yourself, the things you say, that's all new to the person that you're speaking to that you've never met.
Yeah.
So however you want to be perceived, you just act like it.
I love that.
I remember when I first got into the business, because I got in at 18.
Yeah.
The biggest struggle for me was my age.
I call it ageism.
Ageism, right? Even though I think it's a blessing to be young.
It is a blessing.
Right,
But
right.
people undermine that shit, which is ridiculous.
Right. And so what I did is I went to one of my mentors and I'm like, hey, like, I feel like my age is getting in the way. Like, you know, this has been like a struggle. Like I'm 18 years old. How do you expect I close deals with people who are triple my age? And he told me one thing. He's like, all right, pretend you're 30 years old and they've got 5 million in the bank. Act like it.
Boom.
And from that point on, that's exactly what I did. And that's,
wow.
Fast forward, that's the year I closed 45 deals. I changed the way I perceive myself. That way, the way people perceive me caught up with it.
Wow. Perception is reality. You know, this is the craziest part that people don't understand. And I'm going to go into the quote you said, the gamification of life. Right. And so, you know, thank God, you know, we're not dying and coming back over and over again, but kind of like when you sleep and you wake up, I guess you get to start again.
Sort of, yeah.
Right. And so I just love the fact that, like, if you can just gamify life and just have fun with it, and you can like listen to this podcast right now and take these tools and best practices and these techniques that you and I are speaking truth to individuals that are listening, and you run with it. I mean, dude, like honestly, you know, you look at majority of just society. Everyone's on autopilot. Everyone's on their phone. Everyone's being leaded by this perception of a reality based off of our government, right? And unfortunately, or now should I say, let's just say fortunately, the veil is coming off.
Yep.
And everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, who is this lady who just been put in out of nowhere? And everyone's finally waking up and starting to see that, dude, there's enough money for us all to be billionaires. There's enough money for us all to be happy. There's enough opportunity for us to do anything and how we want, when we want. And it's like life by design is what I say.
I love that you mentioned that, and I don't want to get too political, but
Oh yeah, I'm not.
I think we can both agree that the government's a puppet show right now.
Oh, dude, they're finally like, it's like, dude, okay, you guys are just like, the tail's in between your fucking legs. You guys are totally just off par. And thank God for social media and us all being able to come together and be like, shit, like we see it.
The crazy thing is that there are some people who don't see it, but uh, I think those people are just ignorant. They want to
Oh
feel
my
like
God.
they want to feel like they're in a utopia.
Of
I mean,
course.
it's natural for humans to want to feel safe.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's why people just don't want to see the truth, even though the truth is right before our eyes.
Yeah.
And so I hope things start to change here soon,
Me too.
with November coming up and
Yeah.
whatnot. But yeah, we can stick to real estate.
Yeah. We'll stick to real estate. That's a whole nother topic. That's for another podcast we're launching here soon called the Liftoff Experience Podcast, and we might be able to get you back on. And it's
I'd love
2
that.
hours, and we'll talk liftoff personals, professional, and spiritual, because I think the spiritual side is something to really talk about as well, because it ties a lot into what we're talking about. But I love the fact, just to rewind a little bit, before you walk into a room, the gratitude piece, because every single morning when I first wake up, I always practice the gratitude. I practice the gratitude, what I'm grateful for. I run through it, and then my feet hit the floor, and then boom, I'm off. And red light therapy, controlled breathing, Wim Hof, the sea salt water, lemon, the She Legit, the gym, the whole nine. Right, that's every day for me. And I like that, practicing the gratitude before. One thing I like to do too is before a meeting, it's like I just say like, this is going to be an amazing, magical, awesome experience, and we're going to connect, and this is going to just be a phenomenal opportunity. Because I think people forget that they are in control. Like, you're in control, and they don't take the control.
Right, right. I love how much of like a biohacker you are. I didn't realize that. That's super
Oh,
cool.
I'm super
I
biohacker.
literally did Wim Hof on the way here in the car.
Are you serious?
Swear on
I did
everything.
this morning.
That's awesome. I like to do it before a big podcast or big meetings. That
Okay.
way I can calm my nervous system
Okay.
and just be chill.
That's sick,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. So shout out Michael. I'll put his link down below and I'll connect you. But he owns 3 optimized locations.
Oh, I used to go there.
So optimized.
Yeah.
So okay.
That's the first place I cold plunged.
So my buddy owns that,
Huh.
Michael. So he's co-founder. We were just at an event last weekend for his Tempe location for the 3-year anniversary. I was there for that grand opening. I was just with the grand opening that just grand opened in closer to you over in Scottsdale, Surprise, and or no, Paradise Valley over there. And so we just went to Houston, Texas, and did like pool training, cold plunge, like the whole nine. So, anyone who's viewing and watching, go look for like a wellness center, I guess you could say,
Mhm.
and go vibe out, because it's so important, and it really helps just be able to get out of your mind. When you're in that cold plunge, you have to calm yourself down. You have to relax. The heat is great. The spa, sauna, it's great. Here at the personal residence, we have the pool, great for the winter time. But I gotta get the cold plunge. Don't have that.
You should, man. You really should. It's a game changer. I love it.
Yeah.
It's better than driving half an hour to go somewhere.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to deal with the fact that I have to drive to optimize, and I'm like, well, I already have the red light therapy machine. I really want to get what is it called? The chamber. The
Like that ice chamber.
not the ice chamber. It's for the air. It's like gives you 100% oxygen. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never done that, but I've seen it.
I haven't done it either, but it just, something that looks like, Michael, where you have no real profile picture here, dude? Like all of his stuff is there. You go.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, there's Michael, but yeah, he's one of the owners. They're super cool, and yeah, actually, our producer for this show, shout out to Jake. He's not here right now. Going into 72 sold, and then you transitioned now to Real Broker, and then transitioned to EXP. Let's get a little bit into like the cloud-based brokerage training that they have. You have a little contrast too, because you've been at both.
Mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, I transitioned from 72 Soul to Real because the team I was on at the time made a whole move. So yeah, we went all together, and then I decided it was probably time to go off on my own.
Okay.
Most of the business I was getting that year in 2022 was just for my own efforts, and so I wanted to start 2023. I wanted to start scaling up from there and building my own team out. And so I ended up jumping ship from Real to EXP, not because the company was bad per se, but I found the network I'm at EXP right now
Hmm.
has been a lot more supportive
I love that.
towards my goals and helping me build faster.
Okay.
I think Sharon, president of Real, is amazing. He's
Shout out. Check out
super,
his episode. He was on the show.
yeah, super, super sharp guy. But EXP, I joined because I'm getting like more mentorship. I have Chris Bowers, Dave Zaginski, Kevin and Fred,
Nice.
some guys who've been in the business for 20, 30 years.
So Kevin, side note, pause. No, Kevin Kaufman. You talking about?
Yep.
Kevin Kaufman. I used. I want to say it was Joe to buy this house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Small world,
Small world, bro.
Yeah, I love Kevin. He's a great guy. But they've not only taught me how to be a better salesperson, but they've taught me what leverage is.
Mm.
They taught me to scale because back when I was on the team, I wasn't leveraged. It's more so the team that's leveraged so that the team can grow, but
Okay.
agents aren't necessarily taught how to leverage their own business. That way
Yeah.
they can buy back their time and focus more on the high income activities. And
Got
so,
it.
meeting with Chris Bowers and getting that direct mentorship from him changed my life completely.
Wow.
I don't show houses anymore. My clients still get the best, actually, they get even better service
Okay.
now that I don't show houses to them
Wow.
because they can see houses from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on demand because of the
Okay.
staff I have. And so instead of them working on my schedule, we work on theirs. And they love it, love it. So that's been really good. I've built out my team. We've got 9 people right now.
Let's go. Congrats.
Thank you. They're all crushing it. Primary source of business is expireds there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean it's been a ride. I'm very grateful for the support I get.
Okay.
And also, building out the EXP organization. I would have never been able to do that without the help of my upline, which
Wow.
I didn't feel like I was really getting that at Real.
Yeah.
Real's got a great structure for recruiting, but when you don't have necessarily the support to do that, it's a lot harder to actually do that yourself.
Yeah.
So that's just my experience there, but I think both are great companies, really.
I love that. And I want to speak for a second to the fact that, and this is where the challenge comes in, right? So anyone who's viewing, listening right now, there's standard operating procedures that are missing from Real and from EXP, where there should be a better process of elimination to then be able to, and I've heard this multiple times. So we shout out Dan Gandy. He was our co-host of the show, and he's done hundreds of episodes with me, more on the online side. He did the opposite of you. He was with EXP with, everyone knows, he was on the show, Ricky Caruth. Okay. And so Ricky Caruth wasn't giving him the training that he needed, and he wasn't feeling that he had the support that he wanted. So then he went over to Real Broker. And Sharon flew out and met with Dan Gandy over up in Oregon. So he's over in the Eugene market in Oregon, about 45 to an hour outside of Portland, Oregon, which is the capital. And so long story short, going back to the standard procedure, it's all about persona and making sure that the organization is doing a better job persona profiling and connecting to the right person, because this is the cog in the wheel. If you join EXP or Real and you join a team, you can't unjoin the team and come back without a certain amount of time that has to go by.
Right.
So then it's in your best interest to say, well, if it's not Real, then it's going to be EXP, and then you find the team that you're destined to be with or whatever. And everything happens for a reason too, and happens for us for a reason, not to us. That's another subject on the self-development side, right?
For sure.
And so so if they did a better job with that, I think they can do a better job with identifying where this person should go. So then that way you can connect that individual. Like I talked about before we got on the show, like if someone goes to show a house and the vibe's off and there's not a standard procedure with that, that potentially can kill the deal, or the person's going to reach out, the potential, client, and be like, I didn't vibe with Stacy. Like, Stacey's a great person, but I just, you know what I'm saying? Because not everyone connects with everyone.
Course, yeah.
It's almost like energy. Right. There could be a frequency issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
The frequency
I totally
just
agree.
does not vibe. So those should be put into the process to help with basically making sure that like you have the best experience that you need.
Totally. No, I agree. I can see that both companies may be lacking some of that. It would be interesting to see what they do to maybe fix that. I'm wondering if maybe someone joins under a team.
Yeah.
Maybe they can have like a shorter period if they wanted to leave that team and join under another person that downline,
Like that.
some kind of exception there. Because right now, at least for EXP, it's a 6-month wait.
Yeah.
Leave the company, come back after 6 months, you can go under a different downline.
Yeah. It's needs some reform. And with these cloud-based brokerages, like, this is the future. And these teams are the ones that are at the helm of basically growing EXP, Real Broker, right? And so it's interesting, even from the perspective. I'll give you a different perspective. Anyone viewing and watching right now, the perspective of like marketing companies, right? Like Liftoff Agent's a marketing company. We're not a brokerage, and we're neutral. Well, guess what? We're offering value to agents, which every single mega team under EXP or Real are offering value, right? They're not so much doing the work like we do as far as building out a logo or building a website, setting up social media. So it's very interesting how now, like, it's shifted, right? Like I'll give you guys an example. Like, you know this, like, you called, had the success, join EXP, you're Real, then out EXP. You're with Kevin Kaufman and his team and partner. And then now it's like you have people underneath you. So now you're at the next level, right? And then we could talk a little bit about it, right? What's next?
Right.
Building a downline, coaching,
Yep.
right?
So
And it's
true.
already something that you're thinking about. So it's interesting how the lay of the land with real estate has shifted. Speaking of technology, cloud-based brokerages, I mean, you go back 10 years ago, like before these cloud-based brokerages were around, you would just focus on a buyer, a seller, maybe building a team. You could do some coaching, but you're not getting into building courses and having mega teams and having 3,300 agents under your fucking downline. That was never a thing 10 years ago.
It's crazy how much it's evolved. And
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't in the business 10 years ago,
I mean,
but
you're a part of this evolution.
right, exactly. And I see the evolution. Like
Mm-hmm.
the only coach 10 years ago is probably Mike Ferry.
Yeah.
And now there's millions of coaches online. Well,
Yes.
not millions, but probably tens of thousands
A
of
lot.
coaches online
Yeah.
who coach in different niches of real estate. And
Mm-hmm.
it kind of goes back to what we're talking about. There's so many different streams of business you can go down. And so
Yeah.
I think there's a market for that.
Yeah.
There really is.
Agreed.
And I love that people are capitalizing on it and
Mm-hmm.
actually their intention is to help others, because I think at some point you just sell real estate for so long. We get in this business to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And so after doing the same thing for years, people want something new.
Yeah. What's next?
Then the next thing is you get good at what you do and you help others do the same. Right. And so that's kind of the route that I'd say I'm probably going down.
I love it.
Not quite yet, but
Okay.
it's in the works, and I've obviously had success teaching my team
Okay.
how to cold call and take listings every single month and close
Love it.
deals. And so if I can impact people on a bigger scale to where
Mm.
they don't have to join my team, they can stay where they're at, but still get the business that they're looking to achieve, then I think that's a win-win for everyone.
I love that. I love that. You'll love this quote. I don't know where I heard it from, but I just been adapting it and talking about it. And it goes as like, we're here to serve those who which we used to be.
Hmm.
Right? Because it's just like your past self, even though it's a different personality type, and it's not, it's not you, but it's someone else, and they're going through whatever they're going through. You can then meet them where they're at and help them get where you are,
Yep.
which is really cool.
Our past selves all would have loved to have our future selves helping us out. So
Amen.
that's how I look at it, man.
100%.
I think hiring a mentor or a coach is by far the best thing you can do in this business. And if you don't have the money to hire someone, you join their downline. They, have them be incentivized without you directly paying them. And so that's what I was looking for when I parted ways with my team, is like, I wanted a mentor still.
Yeah.
But I didn't really want to spend the capital on one. Every single mentors are expensive. Most
Yeah.
charge thousands of dollars every month. And so I was like, okay, well, I found a mentor here. And EXP is paying him, so I'm covered, and he's still incentivized to help me.
Yeah.
And so that's what I love about the cloud brokerage model. I think EXP Real, they're going to take over, and 5-10 years down the road, Keller Williams is going to be gone. Century 21, all these other companies that have been around forever that haven't adapted to the cloud, fortunately, they're going to be gone.
They are 100%. So as we get closer to putting bookends on our show, let's get into future forecasting for what can the viewers and listeners, as they follow you now they're invested. They've heard your story. They've watched the podcast. If you haven't watched it, it's on YouTube, but listen to it, the stream in it. We appreciate you. What's for the future? Are you building a team? What are you doing there? And then also, what's next to serve?
Yeah, that's a great question. I do have my team built out, but like I said earlier, I really want to impact people at a higher level.
Okay.
So I've been consistently closing $20 million in real estate every single year. And I want to teach others how to do the exact same thing. And I've never been a fan of keeping the information in my chest because I've benefited a lot from people doing the opposite and actually helping me. And so
Yeah.
my goal is to give back to others. And so I'm probably, well, I'm working on a program right now, and it's going to have a
Wow.
consistent like SOPs, super detailed on exactly how I cold call, what systems I use, my scripts, my tonality when I cold call, my listing
Love it.
appointment presentation, my follow up, everything, like
Wow.
everything I do. And I'm going to just package all together and sell it to where people can benefit from it and not have to hire a coach for $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
Unless they wanted to do one-on-one coaching with me. But that's a conversation for another time.
just putting it out that that's possible. But no, I love that you want to serve, want to support, want to give back. Is this the first time putting it out there publicly?
Yeah, it is.
Let's go. We got a first on Real Estate versus Technology Unleashed, dude. That's awesome. So I think this is going to go out 5-6 weeks. So maybe a month to 2 months out. So hopefully, depending where you're at, we'll have to maybe give them, if it's live, we'll have to give them some type of, definitely follow, right? Follow on social media, check you out. If there is a link or something, we'll love to be able to put it out there for you, man.
Wonderful, man.
And give you that additional support, because I feel like, you know, you can have all the money in the world, but you're talking legacy now, man.
It's more fulfillment, you know, like there's no better feeling than helping someone else
Amen.
build their business to help other people.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just impacting people on a much deeper level than you can even see.
100%.
That's what I want to do. And so the program isn't out yet, but
Okay.
2 to 4 months, it'll be ready.
2 to 4 months. Okay, so we'll be ready for the time this goes live, but you know, go follow Ari, and you never know, you know, when it'll be live, what's going to happen with that, which is going to be super awesome. And so as we get closer to ending out our show, we'll have you look at your camera over there. What would you want to leave with the viewers and listeners as we put bookends that they can apply to their business to have more success today?
Consistency is key. So keep moving forward no matter what adversity you're going through. And once you move forward and you achieve that success, figure out how to build leverage around what it is you do. That way you can continue that momentum and never let it go. So keep impacting people.
Wow, that's very eloquently said. Man, this has been an amazing show. Ari, I appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to, you know, and just full transparency for the viewers and listeners out there. I've trained my team to scout individuals that we could vibe, we could meet, and I wanted more people locally in Arizona, because been here 4 years. I've only met so many individuals. We have this studio, have this opportunity, have this location, so let's take advantage of it. And so I'm glad that we had this time to connect. We're doing it live with you all. When you work with high net worth and busy individuals, like, we like to maximize our time, right? Like,
always, man.
You know,
Time's money.
time's money, dude. So it's like we'll get to know each other, and we'll also just pour into you all, so we can all have more success here. So, man, thanks again for your time today. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, Norman. It was a genuine pleasure. Seriously,
dude. This has been awesome. This is awesome. So, hey, viewers and listeners out there, thanks so much for watching Liftoff Agent. Please subscribe, notification bell. We have new episodes coming live now on Mondays. We're changing the schedule up a little bit here, but you know, it is our intention for you to take things from our episode, apply to your business, have more massive success. If you enjoyed it, share it, and we'll see you all on the next one.